This is a Glassbox Media podcast.
Hey everybody, welcome. I'm Cassie.
I'm Keegan.
I'm Christina.
Oh yeah,
this is my worst date.
That was I was like, I don't know where I was going with that.
I honestly feel like the longer you do an intro or an outro, the more likely you are to mess it up. Like I've just really come to that point. I'm messing up the outro of my other podcasts all the time. I'm getting things very confused.
Oh yeah,
I can't.
I told you I a week ago or whatever when I was filming and I couldn't. I'm like I don't know how to end this. So
cheers.
We love you so much. Cheers. That's not it. That's not it.
Okay, listen.
Okay,
I have to share this. Christina came in immediately and she was like, we have to talk about this. So
yes,
this is viral on TikTok, but I really feel like, and I'm chronically online and I kept seeing it being referenced on my For You page, but I was like, what are they talking about? So I had to seek this out.
Okay.
And here we go. So this is a Reddit thread.
Okay. Wait, there's a sound that goes with this.
Yes. And I will play the sound afterwards. A little backstory. When I first started having sex, I researched into ways to be better as I was a little stiff and pretty much had no idea what I was doing.
Relatable content.
Researched.
Research
He's
porn.
a Capricorn. He's like, I'm going to Google it.
He's got to be a Capricorn.
Virgo,
it sounds very,
Yeah.
I'm getting that energy from
definitely
the post.
earth sign energy of like, I don't know how to do this. So I'm going to research it.
Yeah.
I'm going to do my homework.
Hit the books.
I read online that you can play music and match the rhythm in order to put on a better performance.
No.
I searched love making songs.
No.
He searched for love making songs and started slowly. Barry White started slowly creating a playlist in which I was comfortable matching the rhythm.
Oh no.
So I know we keep like pausing through the story, but that also makes me feel like he practiced at home by himself.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. And also I have seen, we can talk about it when it's done. Motherfucker was not following the rhythm. That's how he was following the melody.
Oh, honey. Okay.
Yeah. It's not the rhythm. It was the melody.
Oh, babes. There are a few songs to my playlist. However, there is one song in particular which actually happens to be my favorite that my girlfriend hates and says turns her off in a major way.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I don't understand why it has taken her 2 years.
Imagine this has happened for 2 years.
2 years. Every time you have sex, you do it to this song.
Yeah.
Hold on. I need a playlist. Hold on, guys.
One second.
Yep.
Hold on. It has taken her 2 years to tell me she hates that song. It's a good lovemaking song with good rhythm.
Oh.
I feel the way I fucked up is I could have possibly asked her previously if she likes the playlist or any song she'd like to add/change.
Oy.
But to leave it for 2 years thinking our sex life is great, but in her eyes has just been ruined by my music, has left the whole situation feeling awkward, and I'm a bit annoyed. I pretty much played this tune every single time. Wow. So the amount of times she must have not been enjoying it when I thought...
Well, she's told you now, so move on, motherfucker.
When I thought the complete opposite is annoying, but also embarrassing in ways. Not to mention... my previous partners never complained about the song, so maybe it's just her.
Countless victims. Countless.
So many.
If you have been victimized.
It's fucked up the relationship, to be honest, because sex feels awkward now. The other day we were having sex with no music, but I was still thrusting to the tune playing in my head. She recognized this and asked me to stop.
She's like, motherfucker.
No, I know what you're doing.
I know what you're doing.
I
can hear it.
I feel it.
2 years.
I thought this song was perfect.
She
and
loves him.
I always
And that's how you know.
thrust along with the tune and feel it gives me the perfect rhythm for doing the deed to. I usually bust to this song and find it devastating. She hates the song. Okay.
Brother, you have got to change your patterns or he will not be able to come unless he's doing it
Right?
in that pattern. It is so ingrained. For at least 2 years, they've been going at it, and he's been going at it in this specific rhythm. So we're about ready to play the sound.
Are
This
you
is
ready?
his lovemaking song, Cassie. You are stunned. Your face.
I
2 years.
2 years of
Every time.
where without music, that chick was like, I fucking know what you're doing. Please stop.
He's like, this is the perfect song
This is-
to bust to.
And that's a sex playlist and that song every time for 2 years.
Yeah.
I'm devastated.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
should be.
I
so
don't even
is
know.
all of TikTok.
For
Why?
where did you find that?
He's Googled.
No, I mean like where,
It's
Googled- he
some
Googled lovemaking song?
EDM song or
it's not
something.
even though. Like it's not. Like don't even categorize that into.
Cassie got offended on
Yeah,
behalf
she's
of
like,
EDM.
no.
I
Like,
did, and
no.
because I'm like, what is that?
Oh, it is so brilliant. You have music theorists actually debating this on TikTok right now.
Oh.
That's how fucking imagine like your thrust
2
game is that
fucking
weak that all of
years.
TikTok is talking about it.
That's the TikTok we make is us thrusting. to that.
It's horrifying. I mean, it's truly horrifying. But I will say, TikTok has been giving lately.
Oh,
there
so
has
much.
been so much TikTok drama. We got, God bless Sarah Falcon, who, united all of the states, united us all.
Yeah.
Yep.
We felt like we came together
United Front.
Yeah, we all came together for Corn Kid.
for Corn Kid.
Corn.
And
Yep.
freaking now this guy. I mean, first of all, this guy's got to be in his early 20s. This seems like an early 20s vibe.
You know what? I don't know because
No,
I'm like
thinking like solid mid-20s.
because he's been with her for 2 years,
Yeah.
And
and,
he's had
all of
previous-
his previous partners.
oh, honey. Huh?
And he doesn't sound like the kind that was like pulling in high school. You know what I mean? So I'm
Yeah.
like, he's got to be like mid to late.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's got to be in my top 5 lists of like even negate the fact that he's thrusting to the melody of the song. That song, listening to that every time you fuck is
Fuck
not
me.
a turn on. That's
I'm
on
out.
my top 5.
That's a new
songs.
red flag now.
And I know we also had a story of somebody that liked to fuck to the Ghostbusters,
Ghostbusters.
theme song.
Listen,
which is
would you
definitely on
rather?
there.
Oh no.
Would you rather fuck to that
Ghostbusters.
or Ghostbusters?
Ghostbusters. 100%.
Yeah, Ghostbusters. But you know what? But hold on. The Ghostbusters one, the problem was he did not have a playlist. It was just Ghostbusters on repeat. Which, if you put it like that,
Right.
like, you got to get done in the course of one round of Ghostbusters. Because
Yeah.
if it starts playing again, we're gonna
Yeah.
have a problem.
Are you guys down with the soundtrack with
No.
music in the background?
I don't know. I'm too easily distracted by music.
Yeah.
So I would say no. It has to be something like I can completely log away.
Oh, I fucking love fucking to a soundtrack.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah.
It's one of my things, and I miss it. It's been a few years, but yeah, I like getting in the vibe, the mood.
Why has it been a few years? Does Eric not like it?
No, I think he's similar. I think to like Cassie and stuff. When music's on in the background, it's distracting to him.
'Cause
Where for me, I'm like, put on some like Massive Attack and 9 Inch Nails, and let's go dark in this motherfucker.
I
like,
think
damn.
I find it
Zero
I think
dark
I find
30
it
up in this bitch.
distracting as well. I do. I think I find it distracting as well. I don't think.
Yeah.
I think I've tried a few times. And
But
I'm like,
it creates a vibe,
An
a
ambiance
mood,
for you.
an ambiance for me.
And for me-
this song, that's not sexy
Not in
time
it.
to me. That's not the vibe.
No.
That's not the feeling that
No.
I'm going for.
I think that like I do have a playlist in my head of my life. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying?
definitely.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
this is driving through Arizona
Yeah.
to see the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
This is, I have a Pure Moods playlist in my mind for sure.
Pure mood.
And I think that I have there is a scripted version of my life in which music plays in the
Yes.
background of my
Oh,
sex life.
definitely.
But in real life, I would find it very difficult, I think.
I think I would be cool with it if it was playing softly enough.
Yeah, I
Like
can
if it
have
was
TV
very,
playing.
if it was very like,
because I don't care about
kind
that.
of quiet in the background,
Right.
then I think I would be okay. If it was too loud, I would get distracted. My mind would start to wander. I'd start like
Yep.
like
Is he trying to
lyrics
be
in my
romantic?
head.
Is this supposed to be romantic music?
Like
How should I be feeling about this? And that's my mind. My mind
Yeah.
spinning out.
Well, I think too, part of what made it fun was like creating that playlist together
Okay.
with a partner where it's like, oh, this is like the vibe, the move for the Friday night. This is
so
where we're
you're-
at.
You're
So-
creating it together.
Right.
That is, I actually love that. Like, I think that creating playlists is such a like love language.
Yeah.
Like truly
We're
like,
adding it to the book.
or what?
We're adding this to the book, the love language book.
Oh
Yes.
yeah. No,
Creating
definitely. Like if somebody
It's the
creates
sixth one.
we did just talk about that, or for the listeners, we will be talking about that, or touching on it a little bit in our double date that's coming up. But creating a playlist to give to someone, or a CD, or
Right.
like whatever, or even just sharing songs that you think that somebody else would like,
Right.
Like that is a love language,
Right.
Because you're like, this made me think of you, or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I like that. I think like with a partner, creating a playlist together,
Yeah,
there
we're
is something kind of sexy about
because
that.
what turns you on and what you find sexy may not be the way that other person interprets
Clearly.
that song. Exactly.
Yeah.
Example that we got. It's not Pure Moods.
I swear to you, that girl was done. She was like, I know what you're doing.
I love it. I
After 2 years, just it broke.
That
her
scene-
mind snapped.
was like, I
scene
cannot.
in my head picturing them having sex without music and her just being like, stop.
I know what you're doing.
Yeah. No. Get off me.
No more.
Oh my God. Imagine the monotony.
Awful.
every
boring.
time that very same rhythm, it's just not. That's not the key to like a woman. I think.
I got to be honest, of the things that I expected to happen, that wasn't it.
That wasn't it.
That wasn't it. That was not the song.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's out there. I mean, I think that our fuck, marry, kill today has got to be. I think we've got to go
Sexiest song you would fuck to?
least
Least
sexy,
sexy
song.
because
Okay.
we already have Ghostbusters and we've got this fucking thing. But like, what
The
is a
national
song?
anthem.
The national anthem.
The national
Proud
fucking
to
anthem.
be an American, where at least I know.
Imagine.
Wow.
I mean, I actually.
Lee Greenwood. Ooh. That's it.
I'm gonna say Friends in Low Places by Garth Brooks.
Wow, we're in a very specific genre.
Oh, wait. Okay. So we're all picking our own. I
Yeah.
like this. So
Yeah,
we're not
yeah.
including these two. Perfect. Good. I
Okay.
like it. Okay.
Yeah.
So mine's definitely Lee Greenwood.
Proud to be an American.
Proud to be American.
So wow, we are very unpatriotic on this playlist. I mean, on this podcast right now, because all three of us are like country.
Well, some country I
Yeah.
think would be down, but
Some
just,
country I'd get
there's
down
just
to.
something. It's not a turn on for me. Yeah, it's just not.
okay.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, and coming from Southern Missouri, I cannot go out without hearing Friends in Low Places. It is inevitably played at the end of the night at every single bar
Everyone is singing it.
ever go to.
And don't for 1 minute tell me that you have not.
I am 100% also scream singing it. Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Okay,
100%. I would never
Because
sit
you
here
also
and
have
lie.
friends in low places.
I would never lie on this podcast that like 3 shots of whiskey in, I'm not scream singing
the vibe.
Friends in Low
That's
Places.
the vibe.
Yeah.
It's like
It ain't
you're
fucking.
scream singing in a dirty bar that kind of has an undertone of piss smell to it. And it's like, it's fun. It's with your friends, that kind of thing, but it's not sexy time.
Okay,
No.
I'm going to change mine.
Okay.
Just to step it outside of the box just slightly. Although, imagine fucking to the national anthem of the United States.
No, thank you.
Wow. But I'm going to go with I'll Be There For You by the Rembrandts.
Oh, the Friends theme song. Wow.
I'm just saying,
okay.
I could
then
not.
I'm going to change mine too.
I love Friends, but I could not be fucking to that song.
All right, I got one for you.
Okay.
When I wake up, when I
know
know I'm going to be the man who'd walk.
I
The
just got
Proclaimers.
chills.
Okay.
I would walk 500 miles.
You're like, I would walk 500 miles to get the fuck out of here.
Like, and when we say this, again, all of these songs, if we are out and we are drinking and we're having a good
Time
time,
and place.
scream
Do I
singing.
know all
Oh,
of these
yeah.
songs? Absolutely.
am I clapping along to the Rembrandts if that plays anywhere I'm at?
But
yes,
am
of
I
course.
going to let you blow my back out?
No.
So I will walk 500 miles?
No. And like all of these songs, it's also like, it's like if your partner told you like, I'm ready to share with you
My sex
my
playlist.
sex song.
Your sex playlist, and all of them are good, and then it's
I'll be there.
no.
So no one told you life was going to be...
What does he do during the claps? Yeah.
Yeah,
like-
you got to slap the ass at that point. I feel like...
Oh no! I hate this guy.
All right,
so
girl.
bad. Oh
Fuck,
no.
fuck, marry, kill.
What are you gonna fuck for the rest of your life?
Oh my God. For the rest of your life,
You have to fuck
you have to
to
fuck
one of
to
these.
one of these songs. You have to marry.
Okay,
And
mine's gonna be
I'm scared.
mine's gonna be a zinger. I'm gonna fucking marry Friends in Low Places.
do you know what? I was actually thinking that too.
I just think I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, well, he has, if I'm honest, that deep, sexy voice.
Yeah.
If
True.
nothing else,
It's
I
true.
could maybe block out
Yeah.
some of it. Like it's
Blame it all on my roots.
I showed
Yeah.
up in boots
Yeah.
and ruined your black tie fair.
I love that song is so much fun when you're out, like with
Yeah.
friends.
It
It
is.
really is.
But
like
thinking about in the context of sexy
Jesus.
time,
Oh Lord.
but given our other choices, I actually kind of think that
Yeah.
you're right.
I feel like you could handle it for longer. Like
Yeah.
as far as marriage goes, if you want that to last for a while, I feel like that the other two are too
I'm
cheesy.
fairly
I'm
certain
sorry.
I have fucked to the Friends theme song just from
Playing in the
having the,
background.
DVD in the background.
I'm sure that I have too, actually. I'm certain that has happened.
So I think I gotta fuck the Rembrandts and I gotta kill 500 there's no fucking way that fucking song every day, even for like a one night stand. No,
It's just not a sexy song.
I think the opposite. I do not think I could do I'll be there for you. Oh my God. It's too
saccharine.
It is way too saccharine.
Yes.
For me, for sure. It is like
I think that's
sugar
the problem with both of
coated
these, though. For
honey.
me, they both seem too like.
The 500 miles though has more of a steady rhythm
That's
to
true.
it. So it has more
it's
of
a
that-
marching song.
Yeah. it's
when
got
I
that.
wake up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that might win me over
Yeah.
actually, because I was thinking there's
it's
no
faster. The tempo for the Friends theme song is faster if you want to get it over quicker.
It's true, but I just couldn't. If there was a song I couldn't get off to, I think that might be it. I think that.
I think mine is still.
No, I swear to God. I swear to God. I'm injured in my soul deeply.
I do wish we were recording this episode because my brain broke. I'm trying to
think
figure
we
out.
are recording.
I mean, like filming.
Oh, I was like, we did hit record, right?
Now we're just spitballing here.
Throwing around some ideas.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of this?
You know?
I'm also gonna marry Friends in Low Places. It just
Yeah.
seems like the only option,
Yeah.
truly, if for a long-term relationship.
That's right.
Yeah.
The other two, I
Yeah.
They're both really bad. But when I picture myself having sex with somebody, I can more easily tolerate the Friends theme song than the Proclaimers.
500 miles.
I
Do you know what song's in my head right now? I think because we kept saying Pure Moods is like freaking sail away, sail away,
sail away.
Thank you. Yeah. And yeah.
And your ones?
Yeah, I'm surprised none of us picked like Sarah McLachlan.
Oh,
Imagine
no.
fucking to like.
Well, you can't. You can't. You would just be thinking of injured animals the whole time. Terrible. Crying. That's what that chick was doing in the Reddit post. Just over it. We need to get her some
Save
help.
her.
Yeah. I need to know if you're okay. If you are
Blink twice.
that girl, I need you to reach out to my worst date. Somebody find her. Because I need to know all of the tea. All of the...
I want to know if they're still together.
Dude, is she put up for it for 2 years?
She loves this man. You have to love somebody to do it for 2 years.
Yeah.
Also, get headphones, Breppy.
Yeah, but she
It's
still...
the rhythm.
It's the
Yeah.
rhythm.
Well, now she knows because
Yeah.
you're 2 years in. You got to say something 2 weeks in.
But
You're
even
like,
if you were
"Is this
doing the
always?"
exact same thrust game every single
Yeah.
time, you'd pick up on it. I'm
That's
like,
true.
I don't know anybody that I've ever been with that has like that specific. That's why I was saying it's got to be Capricorn energy because they're like, we
Yep.
found one thing.
Or Virgos.
It,
Yeah.
it works, and that's just how it's done.
Yep. Yeah. This is the right way to do it. And we're doing it this way.
Looked it up.
Yeah. I looked it up. Google told me.
I looked this up
I
and it
know.
said.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, yeah, it's, I wonder if they always do it in the same position because like, does that make a difference
I mean,
to if it's the same rhythm?
it's got to be. It's. Oh my gosh. That's
missionary.
now I'm
and he's
thinking.
like,
I think missionary would be even worse because you're
That's
seeing
the
him
worst.
on top. Like you can see it in his face. You can probably
The
see
concentration.
the melody in his mind. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh no.
I just got goosebumps.
yeah.
Not in a good way.
and not in the good way. In
oh
the way that
my
I might
gosh.
be sick.
Well, you guys want to take 5 and we'll come back with stories?
Yeah. And we're back. Okay, I'm going to get us started with stories. A few years back, while I was a student in college, this nice but unusual guy asked me out. I thought he seemed a bit off, but he was attractive and I was having a hard time.
Okay.
All right, enough said. Really. My significant other was in law school in another state, and the distance had been too much, so we had just split up. So when I received a text from this guy I met downtown asking to go to dinner, I agreed to an impromptu date, hoping to quell my sadness. I was working at the library on campus that night, but luckily I had a pair of heels in my car, so I threw the heels on and met him for dinner after work. Though he was quite nice, he talked a lot about marriage. His ex of 11 years, the guy she left him for, and how the baby she had should have been his kid.
Oh, this is not first date.
It's not.
No.
You're coming in real hot.
Yeah.
And how all he wanted was to find a good girl to give him babies and start a family. He was 31, and that definitely was his agenda, which weirded me out, particularly when he made comments like, "You seem like such a sweet girl." Aside from this, he was actually cool and super laid back, and we had a good time. I don't mind the ex talk. I know people need to vent sometimes. Then he invited me back to his camper that he parked in the parking lot of the Walmart Supercenter.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
My gosh.
So naturally,
Van life.
as a young lady with a good amount of common sense, I took a ride in his pickup truck and agreed to go back to his camper in the parking lot.
No.
The camper was pretty cool,
She's like, it's in public. What could go wrong?
particularly because the living room had expanded when you pushed a button. No doubt the highlight of my night.
Wow.
Just sitting there watching.
Like,
Ooh, fancy.
tiny home.
Oh man.
Anyways, this guy
my
was a pharmacist, and he asked if I mind if he smokes. Did I mention that he was
Wait.
yeah?
He's a pharmacist.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They
Oh.
make pretty good money.
Yeah. I don't know if it has something to do with the breakup.
Is he a pharmacist or is he a drug dealer?
Hey,
Good question.
At this point, there's a lot of twists and turns to the story. So,
though I declined the offer to smoke, I remember him turning off the lights to toke up, peering through the blinds at his place of employment. He worked at Walmart.
Oh.
So you, because he was a pharmacist at Walmart, he parks his camper in the parking lot.
well, hey,
of
I
his
mean,
job.
hey,
Walking distance to
commutes
work.
suck. Exactly. I was just gonna say.
Oh my God.
That is so bold. Like when
Imagine.
your boss and everybody you work with like is just strolling past your window every morning on their way in,
Oh my God.
and you're smoking weed in the parking lot of your where you work.
No. There was one time when I was still working at the restaurant that I worked at, the apartment building directly behind the parking lot had an apartment open, and we were looking at it, and I just thought, I'm like, yes, I wouldn't have to commute to work. I
At
could
all,
literally
right?
somersault there, but that's
No,
too close.
you have to have some
you have to have some
separation.
separation.
And
Exactly.
it's just very weird because look, stuff happens. He was with his ex for 11 years. Maybe in the breakup or whatever, whenever he moved out, maybe he
Sure.
had this camper and was just like, maybe it's a temporary thing or whatever.
yeah, he's saving up
Fine.
money, whatever.
But I'm like, you don't park it.
At your work?
What are you doing?
Maybe there's not a lot of options.
True.
And hey, for he landed this girl because it seems that she's like, it's a Walmart parking lot. It's kind of public, it's fine.
I would listen. You cannot go back to somebody's camper van. No, Christina.
No, I haven't.
The
I
look
do
on
not.
your face- the look on your face was like, well,
New York, would you?
no. Okay. So then I get a text from my best friend who's studying for her organic chemistry midterm. She's stressed. Weird thing is, she is in the apartment complex directly across from the Walmart Supercenter. We aren't even by campus anymore. This Walmart is at least 20 minutes out. Anyways, he's like, invite her over. I can help her with her OChem. I love OChem.
Oh,
Oh
man.
wow.
So my best friend was laughing when I
mean-
sent her the text that basically said, I'm actually across the street from you on a date in a camper with a pharmacist in the Walmart lot. He said,
that is a text. Can you imagine
No.
if you got
No.
that text?
No.
I would sit
And
you
I'd
down.
be like, I am on my way, actually.
Yeah, and you're coming with me.
You're grounded, young
You're co-
lady.
Exactly. You're coming with
Get
me.
in the car
right
this
now.
instant.
We're taking you back home. We're sitting you on the couch.
Interventions.
You're getting a lecture. You're getting a lecture.
Could you imagine? Our friend Amy would be like,
Oh, I know. I'd be in
Spitting.
such trouble.
Yeah. This is true. So this text, he said he can help you with any OChem questions you have. Walk over here. 5 minutes later, my best friend is in the camper with her OChem textbook in hand.
mean-
he helped her with her OChem and showed her the expanding living room.
Wow.
Such a weird
he's
date.
like, watch this.
I'm about to blow your mind.
Oh.
Such a weird date. I declined the offer for a second as I was not looking to have any babies.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just a lot.
That's a lot to take in.
What's going on?
Ugh. Woof.
Also, dude, I understand that people, want what they want. They want a serious relationship or they just want something casual or whatever. But laying that out that extreme on a first date is...
Well, and why? I just feel like it's way too common for people to come in hot and talk about their ex like that.
Yeah.
Like talking about what you want out of a relationship long term, if you do it in like a normal, respectful way, I
Right.
feel like that's fine.
Yeah.
But
But like I'm 31. I am looking to
Right.
settle down and I'm very family oriented and stuff.
This is what
that
I'm
wouldn't
looking for.
be
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
a red flag to me.
that
No.
I actually think it's good to come out
But
with those cards on the table because that's a serious thing. But to come out and be like,
my
ex
bitch of an ex.
My ex left me. She left me for this guy. They had a baby, and that baby should have been my baby. And I want to have babies. And you're like, whoa, bro.
Exactly.
But, silver lining playbook over here. I mean, her friend did get help in her OChem.
Truly, I hope. I really wanted the follow up of whether or not she passed her exam.
We can only assume she did.
Yeah, right.
All right. I have got an email that we got from a listener. She says, my boyfriend and I knew each other for 4+ years, but this was our first Valentine's Day as a couple. At the time, we were in a long distance relationship. I was living in Pennsylvania and he was in Connecticut. The day before, I asked, do you want us to meet in New York for Valentine's? And he said, yeah, if you want to.
Okay.
I would appreciate
4
a little bit more
years?
enthusiasm.
Wait, they were together for 4 years?
Well, they knew each other
Knew
for 4
each other for 4 years.
So they were friends to lovers kind of thing.
I
Okay.
love those kind of books.
Yeah. So this was their very first Valentine's Day together.
Okay.
She's like, you want to go to New York for Valentine's? Like, yeah, if you want to. So she says, I make 0 plans to go, real Capricorn energy, because I wasn't begging anyone to go out
There
with
you
me.
go.
There it is.
I know.
There it is.
100%.
There it is.
I'm the same way. My Capricorn moon agrees. Like, I'm like,
If you tell me, if I'm excited about something and be like, oh, do you want to blah, blah, blah? And they're like, yeah, if you want to, I literally,
You're like,
I'm
I now don't want to.
I don't want
no,
to.
now I don't want
Yeah.
to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, check, match, bitch. I need you to up that energy game.
Exactly. So after work on Valentine's, I go to the hairdresser. My phone dies while I'm there. When I get back to my apartment and charge it, I see 50 missed calls.
Whoa.
Girl.
I call and he asks if I'm not coming because he planned a whole weekend.
Oh.
Dinner that night and 2 nights at a hotel. I am literally in a panic, stuff random clothes in a bag and call an Uber to the train station and take a train to Connecticut.
Hold on. How did he not share?
Yeah.
Any of that
Maybe
stuff.
he was trying to like surprise, and maybe that's why he was downplaying it.
Look,
I don't
I,
know.
Maybe,
I
yeah.
like surprises. I don't like surprises when it comes to
Keegan, you do not like surprises. You lie through your teeth. You hate surprises.
It depends on the surprise. It does. It depends on the surprise. Like, I actually would be okay with a surprise party. Like, I would be if a surprise birthday party, as long as it was communicated with me that like I needed to look nice. Because I would hate a surprise birthday party if I showed up in sweats. I'd be so pissed.
I fucking saw a TikTok yesterday where someone was filming someone's engagement and the woman went off on the dude because she's like, you fucking let me wear sweatpants?
That's all I'm saying is like, at least you need to find some sneaky snake way of conveying to me that like you need to look good.
Exactly.
Because like people are going to be filming you coming into this party. Right. So I'm okay with surprises like that with conditions, within parameters, but I am not okay with, you cannot surprise somebody with a weekend trip. Like, I need to plan. I need to like pack. You know, I need to like, you need to tell me what we're doing so that I can pack appropriately. Like, no, you can't surprise me with like a no.
Yeah, so he's
gonna hate
thinking,
this weekend.
Yeah.
It's weird.
So I get there at 11 p.m. The bedroom had bouquets of roses and chocolate.
Cassie's
and
throwing up.
I was feeling great. We went out and did wine tasting at a fancy restaurant.
Wow.
When
He
we
really went all out.
Yeah. When we came back, he offered me some homemade looking chocolate and he said, try it. I had no idea what it was. Turns out it was chocolate wax edibles and I took 2 big pieces.
No, sir.
Dude,
How fucking dare
oh
you?
my
I had
God.
never had edibles or weed
I'm
before.
furious. You can't do that.
You can't send, like, if she has
Wow,
no
fuck this
experience
guy.
whatsoever.
Yeah.
She's going straight past the moon. She's at Saturn right now. The level
No.
of like fucked up edibles will
Yeah.
take down even like seasoned weed smokers.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
It's, I see, look.
Seasoned weed smokers who were like, take me to the hospital.
Honestly.
Yeah, no, this
You're
is,
like, drink some water, bro.
walk it off. No, this guy obviously, his idea of what a good surprise is very
this is
skewed.
This is
That's
not,
a good surprise.
Yeah.
Don't dose
It's
somebody.
actually- it's very childish.
Yeah,
level.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
This is not what went. Yeah, no. Safe to say, our romantic night never happened. I was lying in the bed and I felt like I was floating. Soon after, I had a full-on panic attack
Yep,
while
that's-
he tried to calm me down.
That's scams.
Been there. We tried to get intimate, but I could barely even move a muscle. So we
Wow.
decided against it. I was just trying to sleep it off, but I felt really uneasy, so I got up to go to the bathroom. I tried to hold it in, but I felt like I needed to puke. I was walking by the kitchen and I desperately tried to open the garbage bin, but couldn't, and I just vomited on the floor beside it.
Well,
Yeah,
you
that
played
tracks.
yourself. Like this
Yep.
man, I don't know what he thought was going to happen, but you definitely played yourself because it sounds like she was having a real good time up until that point.
Yeah,
And
you
would've-
were going to get laid.
Yes.
Yeah.
With a capital laid.
Yeah.
Exactly. She says, I was so embarrassed because I literally never vomit. Girl, you had no reason to be embarrassed. You were fucking dosed.
Your body was a battlefield at that point.
Honestly. He brought me to the bathroom to clean up, brought me some water, and cleaned up all the vomit himself. A perfectly good night ruined. His explanation was he thought I'd like having sex high, and he knew I didn't smoke.
Honestly, fuck
He
you.
tricked her.
Yeah.
That's not okay.
disgusting.
Not okay.
I
That
hate
is
that.
not okay at all. Like, you don't get to...
That's illegal.
It is,
by the way.
actually,
Like,
yeah.
you're not allowed to give somebody drugs without their consent.
Right. Yeah. I got problems
Oh,
with that.
I'm mad.
Yeah. So,
The fury.
yeah,
What
hopefully
if
you
she'd
set
had like
him
some
straight.
kind of medical condition? I always
Right.
think that where like some people's bodies don't react well. Like
No.
no.
I mean,
hate it.
literally, she could have, had a complete and total panic attack, and who knows? Like,
Yeah.
just.
I hate it.
I hate it. All right. So this is my story. There's no beating around the bush. My life is pretty mundane and at times very boring. So I attempt to break the monotony with dates once in a while.
Right? I mean, look, at least they're honest.
Dude, me on my own, I could not be more fucking boring. It's just like if somebody was like Truman Show of my life, they would be literally
They're
what
like,
do I
canceled.
do?
Season 1 canceled.
She eats a baked potato
Right.
and watches another period drama.
Laying on your back scrolling TikTok. That'd be most of mine. It's just me like laughing to myself just by myself on the couch.
Just trolling McTrollerson.
Sending my friends TikToks. That's me all day.
Yep.
Totally. I like the rush of meeting someone and training my social skills is a great way to pass time.
Okay, great.
That week, I was pretty bored and honestly a bit needy. So there was this guy who had been pestering me for
Love this person.
the past week to go out on a date with me. He wasn't particularly good looking, and we didn't share any interests.
Love this
Nor
person
did we
so
have
much.
much to talk about.
Great. Sounds like
honest.
a love match.
He's like, why not? Still, he offered me wine, and I'm a sucker for alcohol.
Well.
So I accepted his invitation. But made it clear it was a friendly date, not a romantic one.
Okay.
This was the worst mistake of my life. Oh, no. You know that feeling of instant regret that you get after the first 5 seconds of meeting your date?
Oh, yes.
This was it. This was the hardest I've ever been hit by that feeling, like a sucker punch to the gut. I literally went numb when I realized I had to spend the next few hours with this person.
Oh my God. I feel this so fucking hard.
Your soul is trying
I
to
know.
leave your body.
You're like, I don't ever leave my house. Why would I leave my house for this?
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Now I'm stuck
Instant
here.
regret.
Yeah.
Yes. I had a date at the Kibitz Room, which is like this live music venue that's part of Cantor's Deli.
Oh,
on
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Fairfax.
That makes sense.
So, yeah, where I literally felt that instant regret of like,
I'm out of here, right?
I got to do this for
Here
the
I am.
next like couple of drinks. I'm like, it's the
God.
worst. The worst.
The moment I met him, he hugged me for an uncomfortably long time.
No.
While grinding his lower parts on mine.
He's like,
Imagine meeting someone for the first time and like,
He's balls against balls.
what's
Like,
happening? Don't.
I don't like
Still, I figured I'd suck it up for a few hours. Maybe set up for a friend to call me for a fake emergency like an American sitcom.
I love it.
Make up an excuse and leave. He tells me he's hungry, so I take him to a snack bar near my place. There were some very uncomfortable silences on the way there. After he's done eating, he suggests we drink the wine he bought. He says, "Let's go to your place and drink this. What do you
No.
say?" I'm 24, I'm gay, and I've had my share of experiences. I know what quote, let's drink at your place means. And I was having none of that. So I did what I do best in a pinch. I lied. We can't drink at my place. My family lives there, and I'm not comfortable taking a guy home. They don't know I'm gay.
There you go.
This was the second worst mistake of my life. He went on and on and on how I should tell my family that I'm gay, that I should feel comfortable with it. And I know this might sound like some seriously positive pep talk, but get this part. You should tell your family right now.
Oh, no.
Let's go there and tell them. Let's go now. And we can drink this wine in your room.
What? You did not get to tell people how they deal with their family or communicate with their family, especially about sexuality.
And on a first date.
And on a first date, like, bitch, you don't know me. You don't know my fucking situation. You don't get to have an opinion on any of it.
In some cases, it could also be like dangerous. Like, you don't know what his family is
he
like.
He thought this lie was going to get him like some tea and sympathy, and it did not.
It did not. Oh, no.
This guy was genuinely trying to get me out of the closet. Probably one of the most important events of my life. So we could have some casual, unsatisfactory sex.
Well, true.
Mm-hmm. I was already 2 hours past done with this date, but he still pressed on. Let's go drink this somewhere quiet then, he suggested. He bought a few plastic cups, and we sit near a church that I knew and was close to my place in case I needed to make a hasty escape.
Now, this, we've seen some really weird, like, parking lots.
Yeah. Church bench.
A church. We had a graveyard a couple episodes ago. Church parking lot or a church bench is...
Yeah.
I imagine this was a walking situation, so that's what I'm imagining. Anyway, he drank some and we talked, and I kept complaining I was tired, hoping for an opening out of this date, but he was very adamant about continuing a conversation that satisfied none of us.
Oh, God.
Suddenly, his hand crept behind my back and struggled to get beneath my shirt. My shirt was tucked, and I prayed to all the saints and angels that his clever hands wouldn't find his way to bypass this improvised security lock. He was a persistent person, though. His hand found its way onto my back, and he began stroking me. I was so uncomfortable. My whole body language is yelling, "Get away from me." My legs are crossed, facing the opposite direction. My arms are crossed. My head's hanging low. "You look stressed out. Relax," he comments.
I am stressed out. If I look stressed out, it's because I am. Please stop.
Ugh. Yeah. I pull another cigarette and light it up. "You know," he says, "I've heard kissing a smoker is like licking an ashtray. I'm safe. Finally, Buddha has sent me a spider thread," I thought to myself. But my dating life is hardly that rewarding. So he tried to force a kiss on me without missing a beat.
Oh, gross.
Oh. I push him back in a very asserting manner. I let him know I was not interested in him, and I certainly did not like all the physical contact. But that didn't stop him. No, sir. The dude decided the best way to honor my need for space was to lay his head on my shoulder and continue stroking my back while saying, "Well, I tried."
No, why? No.
The skin is crawling.
This show is like consent heavy.
Yes.
Like he was very clear in saying, and so stop. A no is a no.
I mean, also, I always think like, you don't feel like that's embarrassing. Like the fact that like clearly it's not working out. Like they don't want this. It's embarrassing for you to keep going.
Yeah.
Like it's just, gross.
Ugh. There I was in the most uncomfortable position I'd ever been in my life. I tried lying, it didn't work. I tried being assertive, and it still didn't work. In this situation, I seriously began to consider running away. I was definitely faster than him.
You should.
Just sprint. My neighbors passed by, saw me, greeted me while a Swedish man I don't know was touching me. I honestly felt so embarrassed and violated. I just couldn't take one more minute of this. I told him I had to leave. He contested. I made it clear that excuse of a date was over. He got up, threw his hands around me, and tried to kiss me again.
My guy, stop.
He fucking tried to kiss me again after I literally told him I didn't like it. This date was over, but I made damn sure he wasn't following me home and locked my doors leading into my place.
This is a garbage person.
Yeah.
Like truly, like just no boundaries. Like you have boundaries that you've articulated with your family. He tries to break them. You have physical boundaries. He tries to break them.
Yep.
Like it's, gross.
Yeah. No on the pushy people.
No.
It's, yeah.
The way that guy wrote, though.
Oh, amazing.
Amazing.
So great.
Yeah, I want to be friends with him for sure.
Totally. Well, you guys want to take 5 and we'll come back with the Tainted Love?
Yes.
Sounds good. And we're back. Keegan, tell us all about it.
Okay, so this story.
Did I get it too hyped? Did I get too hyped?
It's just it's a bit of a bummer. So I
Okay.
feel like that energy was very
Yeah, you were here and we need a pure moods.
yeah.
All right, and we're back.
There we go.
There we go. A real NPR
Yeah.
vibe.
Keegan, could you regale us with your story this
I
week?
would love to. Thank you, Cassie. Okay. So this story is, it's sad. It's a tainted love, but it's also really important. Like, I feel like this is a really important story and it helped to shape some of our laws. So,
Oh, okay.
Tatiana Tarasov was born in 1950 in Russia. She moved with her parents first to Brazil, where they stayed until she was 14, when the family then relocated to California. So her parents were really loving, but also strict and protective. They imposed a lot of rules on Tatiana, and they didn't allow her to wear makeup, for instance. And, she was a rebellious teen. So she bought a tube of mascara, secretly, and she'd keep it in her purse and she would apply it as soon as she left the house. That was her little act of rebellion against her parents. By the time she was 18 in 1968, she was attending Merritt College in Oakland and tutored Portuguese speaking students at the University of California, Berkeley's International House, or I-House, in her free time. Though her parents were strict, they
You're
did...
like, no big deal. In my free time, I also do. Just
Yeah.
the most.
Because she's fluent in several languages. She's
Mm-hmm.
fluent in Russian and Portuguese because she lived in Russia and then Brazil.
Yeah.
So she tutors the international students who speak Portuguese, which
That's
is really
amazing.
awesome.
That's incredible.
Yeah. Her parents were strict, but they did allow Tanya to attend the folk dances at the I-House, which I guess they would throw because it was the international house. So there was a bunch of different cultures there. So they would throw these folk dances for the different cultures at the international
Brilliant.
house, which is
I
very
love
cool.
that.
So she was allowed to go to these dances as long as her brother would drive her there and pick her up and take her home. So at one of these dances, she caught the eye of 22-year-old Prosenjit Poddar, and he was a graduate student in naval architecture who lived at the I-House. He was really into boats, which makes sense given his
Naval
field of
architecture.
study.
Yeah.
So he also worked... Boats. He also worked as an inspector of marine structures and built miniature ship models in his free time.
Listen.
It was all boats all the time.
Is this cool to me? Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah, I mean, truly. I mean, naval architecture, I think, is actually
Brilliant.
kind of interesting.
Very intriguing.
So Prosenjit was incredibly smart and driven. He was born in India as a member of the Dalit or untouchable class. So this class of people was considered so low that they were beneath the 4 caste systems that make up the Hindu system. So
Wow.
if you look at the caste pyramid, oftentimes there's the whole pyramid and then there's a space, and underneath that is the untouchable class. So not good. So the fact that he was able to make it out of those circumstances and all the way to a graduate program in Berkeley was a huge deal. Yeah. He was one of only a handful of untouchables at the time in the whole of India to ever leave for an American university. So he left for university in America and then also made it into the graduate program at Berkeley, which is a big deal.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Once he arrived in America, he had a really hard time fitting in. I mean, this was the Bay Area in 1968. So it was counterculture everywhere. It had hit the area like in a really big way. His fellow college students were experimenting with things like free love and drugs.
And it's Berkeley of all places.
Right. Yeah. It's like,
But
that
it
whole
had
area.
to feel like, hearing a little bit about his background, first of all, you have the culture shock of moving to a completely different country.
Yeah.
And then I don't want to belittle the free love thing that happened in Berkeley at all, but then you have a whole bunch of people who are more privileged, probably being
definitely.
able to experiment and do stuff like that, where you had to like work
Bust your ass.
the
Claw your
hardest.
way. Yeah.
The hardest. I don't know. I feel like he may have been like, you
Yeah.
know.
Fuck
Yeah.
you, fuck you, fuck you.
Yeah.
Or I think you could take that one of two ways. You can either be like, this is fuck you, like how you got this all handed to you, or you can be like, how lucky am I that I am getting to experience this? I don't know.
But I think either way, it would feel really overwhelming.
Oh, of
because
course.
anytime you go somewhere else, there's that culture shock. And in this case, the gap between what he had come from and where he was huge.
Yeah.
And I think even if you're curious about it and you want to like dip your toe into it, it's still scary.
Yeah.
It's like a
for
big,
sure.
wide, scary world. So he was very overwhelmed, and he would often retreat to his dorm room where he'd absorb himself in his projects. So he's making all his little miniature boats or whatever.
Little introvert.
So when Prosenjit saw Tanya, so Tatiana, but yeah, they called her Tanya, dancing at the folk dance that night, he was instantly taken with her, but he was too shy to speak up.
Oh.
It wasn't until the subsequent dance that he finally worked up the nerve to talk to her. So according to friends, Tanya thought that he was nice, but like a little bit intense, but he was interesting and harmless. And she didn't have a whole lot of experience with dating because her parents were so strict. So she was very intrigued by the notion of like romantic love, or that somebody could like have a crush on her or be interested in her. I relate to that so much.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So she was like, okay, like, let's see where this goes. She's really flattered by the fact that this guy is interested in her, but she was, by all accounts, pretty like breezy and non-committal about the whole thing,
Yeah, so she wasn't really like attracted to him. She's just more attracted to the idea that someone likes her.
Yeah, the idea that you could have a boyfriend or that someone could be interested in you, right? So the two became friends and would occasionally go out for pizza or to the movies. When New Year's Eve rolled around a couple of weeks later, Tanya gave Prosenjit what she considered to be a friendly kiss at midnight. So, that's what happens. Single people, it's New Year's Eve. You kiss whoever's standing closest to you.
Oh, man.
Right?
I see where this is going now.
To me, it very much seemed that she viewed the relationship as perhaps a flirtatious kind of friendship, but not a serious romantic relationship.
Meanwhile, he is like in it.
Yeah. Prosenjit, however, saw things very differently. In his culture, casual sex and even casual dating was unheard of, and arranged marriage was the norm. So even these kind of like friendly dates where they would go and see movies, friend dates, right? Like
Are very serious.
Right.
Yeah.
He had never dated or even really interacted with women before. And within weeks of meeting Tanya, he was writing his parents back in Bengal, telling them all about her and her family. And he told them in a letter, quote, "Quite naturally, the family looks to me to express my intentions," indicating that her family was expecting him to propose to Tanya, when in truth, they didn't know he existed.
Right.
Like they had never met him before, right?
Yeah.
After the New Year's kiss, his behavior towards Tanya became increasingly possessive, and it became clear to her that he was interested in being far more than just friends. Once she realized that their views of the relationship were drastically different, she made it clear that she was not interested in pursuing a romantic relationship with him, and that she was in fact seeing other men. She's like, this is casual to me. Like I'm hanging out with you, but I'm also like hanging out with other people. Right?
Don't think that went over well.
It did not. So he could not accept this. He began showing up at her house, standing with her at her bus stop. Like when he knew that she was going to be having to travel, he would go and meet her there and wait with her, like at the bus stop. He was calling her incessantly. From the time they met, he had kept a journal detailing every interaction they ever had. And after she rejected him, keeping a journal with every interaction from the moment he met her, and then continued to write in his journal every time they interacted in any way.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he detailed
Woof.
everything, right?
She brushed my arm today.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yes.
Well, it's also like great to nab that if, the police, if they get involved with stalking, he's literally kept all the evidences right there.
Right. I mean, and he called her his girlfriend in these journal entries. Like from the beginning, he referred to her as his girlfriend. He began to secretly record every conversation the two had, spending hours playing the tapes back to try and determine why she didn't love him back.
Ooh.
So every time that he would be around her, he was secretly recording her, and then he would go back to his dorm and listen to the tapes to try and figure out like what in their conversation.
Just like take notes.
Yeah, what am I doing wrong? Like, those kinds of things. He also sought out Tanya's brother, Alex, and got close enough with him that he was able to convince Alex to let him move in with him and become his roommate.
Ooh.
So he's just trying to force his way into Tanya's life, into her family, constantly showing up where she is, right? As his obsession with Tanya increased, his academic performance started to deteriorate. He stopped bathing. He fell into a deep depression. He began skipping work and school. And when he did go to work, coworkers recalled 2 occasions in which he angrily told them that he would like to blow up the Tarasov home with Tanya inside.
Yeah.
During all of this, Tanya still had some contact with him. I mean, he was living with her brother. And though she was creeped out by his behavior, she still thought of him as mostly harmless. And she would be like, you need to chill out. Like she would just tell him like, hey, it's too much. Like you need to chill out. We're fine. We were friends, but like, it's too much. In the summer of 1969, Tanya left for a trip to Brazil. And during this time, a friend urged Prosenjit to seek counseling for his depression and obsessive thoughts about Tanya. He took this advice and he went to the Berkeley campus health clinic where he sought help with psychologist Dr. Lawrence Moore. Dr. Larry Moore was a rising star in the psychiatry field at the time and was instantly concerned about the way Prosenjit spoke about Tanya and began to suspect that his patient might be suffering from the onset of paranoid schizophrenia because of the way that, and it does onset in your 20s oftentimes.
Yeah.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Prosenjit began expressing a desire and intention to kill Tanya and said that he would like to buy a gun.
I think you shouldn't.
I think that's a bad idea.
Like,
Don't do that.
So Dr. Moore struggled with whether or not these threats were enough to breach doctor-patient confidentiality.
That is a struggle.
But reasoned that the best predicator of future violence was a history of past violence. And since he didn't have any, instead he asked that Prosenjit give him his word that he would cut off all communication with and stay away from Tanya. And though he agreed, Prosenjit soon stopped showing up to treatment. After that.
That's such a hard position.
It really is.
Yes.
Yeah.
But as soon as he stopped showing up to treatment, it sent alarm bells going off for him. And so he wrote a letter to the campus police to inform them of his findings and advised them of the death threats.
Wait, let me guess. They did nothing.
Well, okay, hold on. So he also sent a recommendation that Prosenjit be civilly committed as a dangerous person. Like he was like, I think there's something wrong with him mentally.
You're in danger.
He's making these threats, and I think that he's dangerous. Campus police did track Prosenjit down and detained him, but he was released shortly after. They concluded that he was not a threat nor dangerous and advised him to just stay away from Tanya. They're like, just stay away from her.
I love how a trained professional gave a very thoughtful and clear directive, and then campus police think that they know better than that.
Yeah.
We talked to him. He seems fine.
Yeah, he seems fine to us. But Dr. Moore's psychiatric supervisor, which is a man named Dr. Powelson, ordered that Prosenjit be is the one who ordered that he be released and told Dr. Moore not to pursue the matter any further.
Wow.
He's like, just let it go, drop it. So after Tanya returned from her trip, authorities failed to inform Tanya or her family about any threat to her safety or about Prosenjit's verbal desire to kill her. Despite saying that he would cut off communication with Tanya, his obsessive and stalkerish behavior began almost immediately upon her return home, and he became increasingly unhinged and detached from reality. So a couple of weeks after that,
Anything that happens is on that motherfucking supervisor's hands.
Yep.
Honestly.
Yep.
On October 27th, 1969, Prosenjit showed up at Tanya's house asking to speak with her. She asked him to leave, and when he refused, she screamed, at which point he pulled out a pellet gun and unloaded it into her torso. Tanya, because it was a pellet gun, was wounded but not killed, so she tried to fight him off. The two ended up on her family's front lawn, where Prosenjit pulled out a 13-inch butcher knife and stabbed Tanya between 8 and 14 times.
Jesus Christ.
God. After murdering Tanya, Prosenjit entered the Tarasov home, called the police, and said, "I just stabbed my girlfriend." He waited for the police to arrive, and when they did, he said, "Handcuff me, I killed her." Tanya was pronounced dead on arrival at the hospital. Prosenjit was found guilty of second-degree murder. However, his sentence was later overturned on the grounds that the jury at his trial was not properly instructed, and he was released after 5 years without a retrial. They didn't retry him.
My God.
He spent 5 years in prison, and upon his release, he was deported back to India, where he married and had a child.
What?
Mm-hmm. Tanya's family was... Sorry?
I know.
Yeah. Yeah. He spent 5 years in prison. He stalked her. He was considered dangerous. He murdered
someone.
He murdered her and spent 5 years in prison. And they were like, well, we did it wrong the first time. So whoopsies. Guess you get to go home.
Wow.
Our bad.
Meanwhile, you have like people in jail for like nonviolent drug offensive for 50 years. So our justice system's doing great, guys.
Truly trash. Tanya's family was heartbroken and furious.
I think those are probably understatements to say it.
But they were particularly furious that so many campus and mental health authorities had known about Prosenjit's plans to harm Tanya and never informed her or the family.
Right.
They brought a wrongful death suit against the regents of the University of California. This included the hospital, Dr. Moore, Dr. Powelson, and multiple other university employees.
Good.
The case ultimately went to the California Supreme Court, which ruled in 1976 that it is a therapist's moral and professional obligation to report threats like Prosenjit's in order to protect threatened individuals. Mm-hmm. So there were some members of the medical establishment at the time that argued that the decision would chip away at the practice of psychotherapy, of which confidentiality is thought to be like a cornerstone, right? Like you go to therapy and you want to know that whatever you're telling, your secrets or whatever you're trying to process are going to be protected.
But you also go to therapy to be helped.
Right.
If you are having murderous or suicidal thoughts.
Yeah. Or ideations.
That person informing other people is actually helping you.
That's right.
Yeah.
Even though it doesn't seem like it.
Maybe it doesn't feel that way, but it is.
It is help. So
right.
I disagree. I think that's absolutely part of help is actually like doing the most to make sure that person cannot commit those acts.
That's right. That's right.
And one of the justices said, quote, "The protective privilege ends where the public peril begins." Mm-hmm. Like we have to protect the public. And sometimes we have to protect the public from you.
Right.
It's our duty to do that. Like it can't be on our hands. So today, if a therapist has reason to believe a patient intends to commit a crime that will harm another person, they have an obligation to report it to authorities and protect that person. It's called duty to warn and is now a standard feature of psychiatric care. So duty to warn is a direct outcome of Tatiana Tarasov's murder and the landmark decision that came out of Tarasov v. Regents of the University of California case.
The guy did, though. He did warn.
Yeah, I mean, but
he
nobody
did warn authorities.
Nobody warned the parents. Like nobody told.
But is that what this thing says? Is that they actually have to warn the family? It said you have to warn authorities.
You do have to warn authorities. I mean, I think that they sued because they weren't informed.
I understand why they sued, and I understand this case. I just hope that is the case. You know what I mean? Like I would want my family to know if something like.
And I think now that's part of like authorities, because we've had a lot of stories where it's like if they've received a warning, the authorities have go over to their house, be like, just so you know, there's been a threat on
Got
your
it.
life, that kind of thing. Because
Yeah,
we
I
see
think
that
it
in
is
like
part of it.
cyber crimes when they find like people on the quote unquote dark web looking for assassins or whatever.
Yeah, but I thought that was so interesting that this like duty to warn that we hear a lot of now, like you said, we cover a lot of cases where that comes up. It wasn't always the case. It wasn't always standard practice in psychiatry to do that. And it was this case, this stalking case, that led to that decision being made.
Yeah.
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 Wow.
That's really
that's
interesting.
Yeah.
super. And I mean, it's tough to hear like somebody like that just like was able to get out of prison.
And is now
5
just like
years.
living his life
yeah.
as a dad and a husband.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's just, and if he was psychologically unwell, it's also very clear that like he wasn't getting
Treatment.
the treatment that he needed to be getting. And it's unfortunate because it's like,
Yeah, someone lost their life because of it. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, well.
Wow.
Good one. What are you guys watching this week?
Well, along these lines, I did start The Patient with Steve Carell.
Yeah, is it good?
First of all, I did text you guys because I'm like, I might need to go back to therapy because I think Steve Carell is hot in it.
Oh,
Like,
Steve
I'm
Carell
like,
is
why do I-
so hot.
He's hanging out with just like his gray beard and in his like sweater, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
what's wrong with me? This isn't right. But it is good. It's a little weird because the episodes are only 22 minutes long.
Oh,
Which is
okay.
weird.
It's very unusual for a show like this because it's like a very serious kind of like, suspense thriller.
Yeah.
And it's the episodes are the same length as like a How I Met Your Mother episode, like they're very short. But yeah, I do like it. That guy whose name I can't recall who plays opposite him is so good.
Oh,
in
okay.
it.
Yeah,
And,
I know he's
yeah.
somebody too. I forget. I've seen the trailer though and added it to my list because I was like, oh, this looks interesting.
I
I'll
have
check it
no
out.
clue what this is.
So it's basically about, and I'm not giving anything away because this was all in the trailer. It's about a therapist who saw people in his home, like it was an at-home like therapy. And one of his patients, he wakes up in their basement, chained to a bed in their basement because one of his patients is a serial killer and wants help for it, but couldn't be honest because of the duty to warn. Couldn't be honest about what he needed help with in therapy. So he's like, you're going to help me here.
Yeah.
What?
So yeah. And it's good so far. There's 2 episodes out.
Interesting. Okay. I might be into that. I'm watching, what am I watching? We started watching Lucifer. Never seen it before. So I started watching that.
Yeah, it's based loosely on Sandman.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Very loosely, because like in the Sandman novels, Lucifer leaves hell to open a nightclub in Los Angeles.
Brilliant.
And there is like an actual whole Lucifer comic book, that kind of thing.
Okay.
But yeah, beyond just the actual premise, that's where
it ends.
It ends because it
there.
ends up being like a buddy cop kind of thing.
Yeah.
But a lot of people really like it.
Yeah. I mean, it's like what on its 4th or 5th
Tom Ellis
season?
is hot. So
I watched the first episode and wasn't blown away by it.
That was
but
me. But I got into.
I also heard that like after like the first or second season, they canceled it on like network TV and then Netflix bought it. And then I heard it gets like
Even
way better because
Oh.
Netflix is allowed to do what they want. It's not like
Great.
on NBC or something.
correct. Yeah, that's what I've heard too.
Excellent.
So
Okay.
yeah, keep me posted.
Yeah, we started watching. It's one of those things that I had tried to start watching before and never really got into it. So I'm like, okay, we'll give it a good, Girl Scout effort.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I watched Top Gun Maverick.
yeah,
And
is it good?
No.
Oh my god, it's gonna be great.
everyone said it was
It's
so
gonna
good.
be great.
Like everybody's
I
like,
can't
it's
wait.
amazing.
No.
Christina hates it. I'm gonna love
Yeah, that's probably true.
I will say the flying scenes and like the way that they did it was really cool to watch.
it. The action, yeah.
The action was great. The acting and story were missing
What
for
about
me.
Was Miles Teller's mustache hot enough to make up? No? Damn it.
Yeah, no, but I was it was nostalgia factor and everything like that. It was kind of nice. So like and it was really great to see Val Kilmer
Yeah.
Val Kilmer was nice in that role, but yeah. I think it was actually good to see like an action film again, though.
Yeah.
Because I don't usually like go for that kind of thing, but it was a fun like middle of the week kind of thing.
Yeah.
I got a little high and watched Top Gun Maverick,
Sometimes
so it was like
feels
it was
good
fun.
to watch something that you can kind of just like flip
Totally
off your
brain out
brain.
at. Yeah.
And just
Yeah.
be like explosions, you know.
Bang bangs.
Yeah, bang bangs.
bang bangs.
Fast planes.
It definitely felt like there were times where I was like, it feels like propaganda right now.
is.
I can't,
Yeah.
but it
It
still
is.
was just
But
like,
I mean, so was the original.
Exactly.
So.
But you know, the original was like paid for by
Yeah.
the U.S. Air Force.
Yeah.
was it really?
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. Full on propaganda.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a romp. It's if you like action and if you like Tom Cruise, then I think you would be
You
down
look
with it.
directly at me and you're
I'm like,
not
yeah.
wrong.
go watch the
You're,
movie.
you're like, this movie was actually made just for you specifically, Cassie. I can't believe it wasn't called Top
I
Cassie.
can't believe I didn't see you under like executive producers or what.
You made this happen.
This is your fault.
Special
actually,
thanks to Cassie Young Paxton.
for being a fan of all the things that we've done here.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, if you guys have something we should read or watch, if you have stories about your terrible dates, if you want tickets to our live show
Yeah.
coming up in October, go to our one-stop shop of a website. It's myworstdatepodcast.com. And we love you so much.
Cheers.
This is a Glass Box Media Podcast.